So this is going to be a double review of episode 1 and 2 of season 2 of Overlord, and it's been 2 weeks since we had the previous episode. Now I'm not too sure what's going on with the release date, or maybe that's because of the holidays in Japan, but be that as it may, we finally got episode 2, and much like the previous episode, a lot of setup for what's coming up in this arc. Now I've already checked out the trailers for season 2, at least some of the trailers, not all of them. So obviously one thing I want to get into is Zesshi Zetsume, who was introduced in the previous episode and introduced in a hyped up way, even though she was playing with a Rubik's Cube, which I thought was kind of cute. And according to what we found out, power scaling wise, she ranks above Shaltia, which is pretty OP when you consider the fact that the Shaltia took Ainz to the limit, which is he's the most OP character in the series, so come on. So that should tell you all you need to know about what's to come with the ongoing threat. But I'm going to save my opinions for like Zesshi Zetsume, who she should go up against later in this episode. I'll give you my reasons to why. At the end of the previous episode, we obviously got introduced to, I guess, the Lizard Tribe, and in this episode, episode 2, we got more of an introduction to the 7 tribes that were previously established. Only came down to 3: the Dragon Tusk Tribe, the Green Claw Tribe, and the Red Eyes Dragon Tribe. With, I guess, the premonition, the warning given to him by, I guess, the 5 shadows that we saw in the beginning of the episode, saying, okay, there's going to be a war upon you if you don't offer yourselves to the Great One. And 2 things were established by, we come to find out that Cockatoo is going to have a role in this arc, and according to the visuals in the trailer, he's going to be against the Lizard Tribe. Now I'm not too sure if they're going to come up with the lines after that. I'm not too sure. But we know he's going to be part of this arc. We saw him in this episode mention the Supreme One. So is that the same thing here, the same being that's threatening the Lizard Tribe, or is it a different being altogether? So that's the most interesting part. Why is Cockatoo involved in all this? And is he going to be the protagonist or the antagonist of this arc? We do get mention about Ainz in this episode, even though we don't get to see him or Alberta in this episode, which is, I guess, it's a breath of fresh air because it is flushing out some new characters in the process, setting up some major turmoil with what we got with Cockatoos. I kind of want to see what Zesshi Zetsume is capable of, especially when she kind of said, "Oh, how would I fare in a fight against Shaltia?" And it was stated that she would win hands down, which is pretty impressive. And she sounded bored, like she wanted the challenge. I'm pretty sure Ainz is going to go one-on-one. But I'm kind of hoping before that happens, one of the Guardians of the Tomb of Nazarick, Zesshi first, maybe Alberta. That'll be an interesting fight. We know what she can do. We haven't seen her go all out in one-on-one combat. We saw what Nabe can do. That'd be an interesting fight. We got some other characters like Epis Lund, who got introduced in the previous season. She's a complete mystery. We know she's a part of the maids of the Guardians of Nazarick. So maybe, like I said, maybe some other character go up against her first and establish her even a bigger threat than before. So that'd be kind of cool. Episode 2 is pretty much, I guess, build on the foundations, come up with a truce, an alliance of some sort of each of the dragon tribes that are left. And Zoriasu is pretty much the catalyst to like unite all these tribes, but by the end, we get into just the Serasu. He's pretty much being challenged to by the end of this episode. And it doesn't take him long to get for Lulu, pretty much the guardian of the Red Eyes Dragon Tribe. So that's kind of funny, especially when she was acting, when she's getting all flustered, and the way he was acting when he saw us is kind of like how people meet for the first time, it's that love at first sight, which is kind of stated here in this episode, which I thought was funny. The way she was acting, like bashing her tail all over the place, and by the end, she was definitely the comic relief of this episode, just like disguising herself in a bush tree. So, and it looks like apparently the way that they survived is through cannibals, which is kind of interesting coming from a cute character like that. But be that as I guess you got to do what you got to do to survive, and that's pretty much what they're going to try and do to establish this alliance, and to establish what they're going to accomplish with this, how many people are going to survive. That was all established. And like I said, Cockatoos was introduced in this episode. Maybe, like I said, the visuals, he's going up against them in one of the upcoming episodes, so I can't wait to see that. Like I said, the spotlight being given to other characters in this arc. We don't get to see Ainz in this episode, although he was referenced and mentioned to be in a human village. So I'm hoping maybe at the end of this arc he will appear, or maybe it leads into the next arc. I'm kind of hoping this gets resolved without Ainz, because if Ainz was there to do everything, we wouldn't have much of a struggle and it wouldn't be as entertaining. So this is why I said, okay, I think maybe Alberta or maybe somebody else should be the one to go up against Zesshi Zetsume, because that definitely look like bad news. Okay, so maybe Sheltier gets a rematch. I don't know. So, oh, speaking of which, we get I guess Demiurge talking with Eclair, the penguin who was, I guess, drinking it up with Sheltier in the previous episode, drowning the sorrows, and we come to find out that Eclair's taken over Sabassus. This is the cleaner, because he's like, I'm going to clean the hell out the Nazarick too. So I thought that's funny. Then he mentioned something about Alberta and helping her out with a certain topic. So I'm pretty sure this is alluding to the punishment that Alberta brought out in the previous episode, where she's like, maybe we should punish Sheltier for like break, and maybe it'll snap her out this depression. So just look at this face and you tell me if you want that tormenting you or punishing you. So I'd be curious as hell to see how it plays itself out. I find it curious that we didn't get to see them in this episode. I think we will next week. So it's an okay episode. It was a setup episode to get us introduced and get us more sympathized with, I guess, the lizard tribe. And in this case, they could end up being destroyed at this point. And I definitely see the romance between Lulu and Zerisu being a factor in this entire war, maybe. And maybe that's what brings them all together in the end of this. I thought it was an okay episode. I definitely want to see where this goes. I definitely want to see more Zesshi Zetsume. Let me know what you guys think down below. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Like this review if you did appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel for more Overlord. I'm going to review it on a weekly basis from here on in. So subscribe to the channel. Catch you guys later. Bye.